Thank you everyone for joining. We're going to go ahead and get started in just a couple of minutes here. Until then, thank you for joining us, and Sherry will get started right at 9 o'clock Mountain Time.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for attending my session. My name is Sherry Jones, and my session is called Teaching Bitzer's Rhetorical Situation Theory Through Game-Based Learning. I was also the keynote speaker on Wednesday, so if you were here on Wednesday, you probably have saw me discuss something about game-based learning. But today we're shifting mode from what I discussed on Wednesday to a different way of teaching with games. Okay, so I'm going to go straight into my presentation. All right, so this is just background. So I wear a lot of hats, but specifically I'm also on the board, the steering committee board of IGDA, which is International Game Developers Association. Specifically the Division of Learning, Education, and Games. So that means I often speak with indie game developers on what exactly does a good educational game make. Okay, so I have that industry connection, but I also teach philosophy and game studies at Rocky Mountain College of Art and Design. So I'm in industry and also in academia. Okay, so first of all, this is a virtual workshop, so it is 75 minutes. I promise you I'm not going to talk 75 minutes, okay? It is a virtual workshop, which means that you will play games with me. You'll do a little bit of work with me, okay? It wouldn't be too difficult. But the purpose of this workshop is to demonstrate, first of all, that digital game can help us enhance our understanding of complex rhetorical theories. So I don't know if everyone studies rhetoric or understand rhetoric, and that's perfectly fine. That's one of the disciplines I teach, and rhetoric is the study of argumentation, communication, or why we communicate, right? So rhetoric theory tend to be very difficult for students, so I want to show you how games can enhance their understanding of rhetoric theories. Game-based learning in action, that means we will be playing a series of games depending on how much time we have. Sometimes we take longer, sometimes we take shorter time. We will do a collaborative assignment and action. Why? Because I want you to experience what it is like in my classroom, as a student in my classroom, what the students actually do in my classroom. And I will also give you a small list of recommendations of games that you can apply in your classroom, whatever your discipline may be, okay? All right, so very quickly, just because I know that not everyone is into rhetoric studies, so I'm just gonna introduce my discipline really quick. So again, rhetoric studies is interested in how rhetorical discourses work, right? Discourses can refer generally to communication that seek or argue for some type of truth, okay? So discourse, rhetorical discourse, how they function and how they are expressed in different patterns and also through different rhetorical devices. So there are actually tools or devices that help us make argumentation more effective, more persuasive. Also, we're interested in studying about why certain issues become important. Why do we discuss certain issues at certain times in history, okay? Obviously, at current time, I'm sure COVID-19 is on everyone's mind. It wouldn't be a surprise why we are talking about it, but rhetoricians would discuss exactly what call us to talk about it, okay? We're also interested in what forms or mediums of rhetorical discourse are most effective. So when I say mediums, I am talking not just, for example, websites. We also study games. We might study computer codes. We might study all kinds of platforms that help us understand how rhetoric works on those platforms. So here's a pedagogical problem that I encounter. Not everyone encounters this, but this is what I encounter. So in most introductory courses, instructors focus on studying about the theories of processes and procedure for creating or constructing discourses, but they often ignore, maybe because they don't have enough time, but they ignore discussions about the condition in which rhetorical discourses can actually happen. So condition is even before the discourse, and that's often not discussed. And I think that's primarily the reason why students don't understand why they even have to make an argument. When I tell them that they have to make an argument, they tell me, why do I need to do that, right? They are used to summarizing and they are afraid to state their opinion. And I think the primary reason is that we do not discuss the conditions for rhetorical discourses. So I'm going to introduce you quickly to a theory called rhetorical situation. And I do believe this theory really should be studied in rhetoric courses, especially intro classes, not just the run-of-the-mill Aristotelian rhetoric, rhetorical appeals. Aristotelian rhetoric is just one theory of hundreds of theories in rhetoric, but most instructors kind of get stuck at the Aristotelian appeals. So I'm going to keep going. All right, bear with me. So there's a theory by rhetorician Lloyd Bitzer, okay? And the theory is called the rhetorical situation. And it's linked in the slides. So that means after the presentations, you will have access to the slide deck. But that's a PDF of Lloyd Bitzer explaining exactly what rhetorical situation is, which basically is the condition that makes the existence of rhetorical situation possible. So there are a few terms that I think will be useful for us to understand, okay? So rhetoric is a mode of altering reality. So by the creation of discourse, which changes reality through the mediation of thought and action. So that sounds very strange, but the way we discuss something changes our perception of that thing. So that's what you mean by altering reality. The rhetor, which is the person who's speaking the rhetoric, right? The rhetor alters reality that bring into in existence a discourse, a type of communication, right? A type of communication, often for seeking for the truth of such a character for the audience. So therefore, there's a connection between the rhetor and the audience, but the rhetor is creating some kind of reality, but pulling the audience into it, okay? So rhetorical situation is essentially a natural context of persons, events, objects, and relations, and an exigence, which strongly invites utterance. So I will explain what exigence is in just a bit. So this is a little bit heady stuff if you've never seen rhetoric studies. I'm gonna keep going. So there are three elements, okay? Three elements, let me do that. So there are three elements in rhetorical situation theory. So the first, I gave you some quotes, so I'm not gonna read all of it, but Bitzer says the first one is pretty important. any exigence is an imperfection marked by urgency. It is a defect, an obstacle, something waiting to be done, a thing which is other than it should be. So the green part is just my quick interpretation of what he's saying, okay? So exigence just basically you can think of as refers to problems in a rhetorical situation that are waiting to be solved, okay? So rhetorical situation, you can think of it in real world situations where there's some kind of problem that exists, and that we call that exigence, okay? Next part, the rhetorical audience are those who believe that they are the one who are able to respond to the exigence or solve the exigence. So in other words, they see a problem and they believe they have the ability or they have the interest to solve it. Whether they believe it or they truly have it doesn't matter. That's what we mean by the rhetorical audience, which is who we're trying to speak to, okay? The last part is the constraints. So constraints, I'm just gonna read my green part here, right? Constraints refer to objects, obstacles, or conditions that limit our decisions to modify or solve exigence. So there are little many obstacles or limitations placed on us that prevent us from solving the problem the way we think it should be solved, right? So there are certain rules or principles that we have to follow in order to solve that problem. So you can think of constraints in that sense. So here's a teaching solution. After I just explained to you the rhetorical situation theory by Lloyd Bitzer, understand that even though I've broken down these pieces, and probably for us, it might seem obvious because we're all professors or instructional designers, we probably get that. But for students, they have a very, very hard time grasping the conceptual meaning of what I just said. And I even broke it down to little mini pieces, but they still can't wrap their head around it. So my teaching solution was to use digital games as simulations of rhetorical situations that are used, right, to invite rhetorical discourses. Again, let me remind you, discourses just means communication, often for seeking some kind of truth or speaking some kind of truth, okay? All right, so why are we using games for learning anyway, right? So the way I see games is that games can really serve as interactive thought experiments. I mean, most of them are fictional, but they're thought experiments that allow students to embody and perform a series of actions while analyzing the simulated condition that led to actions performed in that simulated rhetorical situation. That means the student can take on the avatar's body, right? Or take on a character's body and perform a series of actions within that rhetorical situation so that they actually can better understand what that rhetorical situation is. So it's an experience of that situation that's interesting, okay? And also I think that students, when they read a text, let's say if I gave them Lloyd Bitzer's text, okay, and they read it through, they are often, either they get dismayed because they don't understand the philosophical concepts or the thick reading, or they just don't care. So I want them to care. I want them to care very much about these theories. So I thought that when they're playing a game, because their life, their survival, right, the fictional life is at stake, they actually will care because they actually want to finish the game. So they will pay attention to details in a simulation, whereas they wouldn't pay attention to as much detail in the reading. And you have to trust me that when we train the student to pay attention to details in other mediums, such as a video game, sometimes that transfer to paying attention to detail in reading. So there's a relationship, okay? I'm not suggesting games just to replace books altogether. I'm not suggesting that. So with that gameplay, learners can reflect on their game actions and question themselves, what were the constraints that were placed on me that didn't allow me to solve the problem the way I want to solve it, right? What were the blocks, as it were? And that's how they think about what constraints are. So everybody, and Christian, I would need your help here. So we are going to play a game together right now. So you guys can all go there, and the link is right there. It's just bit.ly/GodsWatch. I might just type it in chat for you folks. Or actually, I'll let, because I think I'm screen sharing, so it's a little bit different. But if you guys go there, right, here's what we're going to do together. You can either watch me play it, or you can play it by yourself and hear me ad-lib over it, okay? This is what students do in my class. They usually do not watch me play. But since we're in this nice virtual conference, I think I need to play it a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to click on it just like you guys are going to. It's bit.ly/God's Watch. Okay, so I'm just going to go there. All right.
And I have typed that URL into the chat for everybody. You'll need to copy and paste it into a browser because Zoom has deactivated links in the chat, but it is in the chat for you to copy and paste.
Thank you, Kristen. So here's a little context of this game. So it says, I can't read fast enough, but essentially this man, Sergeant Burden, leads a research team for Everdesk Company, for the universe of knowledge, blah, blah, blah. The planet went to hell. There was bioterrorism. So it's basically an apocalypse, okay? So in order to stop that, they should survive on arid fields of Senecos, overcome famine, cold madness, repair their radio station to send message to somebody else to save them. So that's what we're trying to do, is to keep this crew alive, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and go into the game. So right now, you will see I have 40 days left. There's a clue there. We only got 40 days to survive this thing, all right? On the bottom right-hand corner, you will see that it says actions. That means I only have 5 turns to do this right. So I can click on these characters. So this is Marvin, the dog. This is the soldier. This is doctor. He just says doctor, okay? Psychiatrist. This, I think, is Sergeant Burden, the main character. The engineer. And then this is brand on. So there's a robot, okay? So we have some options. If I click on, for example, the doctor, here are some menu options. Talk, prepare medicine, repair radio, or kill. So I'm gonna go ahead and talk to him, okay? So the doctor says, we are highly exposed to the Medusa virus here. Keep always an eye on us. If someone got paralyzed, he'll die in 3 days. Okay, so what just happened? I used a turn. I spoke to the doctor and now I have 4 actions left. So I have to be very, very careful. Now over here, there's food, and I neglect to mention that. But if I click on the food, it will allow me to check how much food I have. So I have 30 rations of food, which is all right. Also behind the doctor, there is ammo. So I can check the ammo. And there's 26 laser rounds left, which is, it's all right. You know, it's just our first turn, so it's okay. So I see right now that the fireplace doesn't have any fire. So I'm gonna go ahead and add wood. So it says, Sergeant Burden got some wood for the fireplace. So right now we're going to keep warm because I think it's kind of important we're stuck out there. And I'm gonna go ahead and talk to the engineer because I want to understand what's happening. So the engineer says, I can work on the radio, but I think it will take about 15 days to get it fixed. So remember, we're supposed to fix a radio to survive, right? To contact someone to come and save us. So I just used another turn, so now I got 2 left. So I'm thinking maybe I'll talk to the psychiatrist. Why not? Psychiatrist says, we trust you, Sarge. The morale is crucial in this situation. Try to keep the mood of the team by talking to them. So she gave us a critical clue, right? That if they feel bad, if their morale is low, I'm supposed to talk to them. So that's what the turns are for. And I think I'm going to click on the radio and examine. So it says, this is our only way out. We should fix it before our 40th day. And I'm going to ask the engineer, because the engineer can repair radio, I'm just going to ask him to repair radio. So let's repair this junk. The engineer repairs 6% of the radio. So I'm going to keep going. All right. 39 days left. All right. Our fire is still okay. I'm going to check our rations though. 24 rations. I'm going to ask, let me see what the soldier does. The soldier can hunt. It costs 1 to 3 bullets and 90%. So I'm going to ask him to go hunt. All right. He got 6 rations. Not bad. Okay. And I'm thinking, no. Let me check the food, ammo. So the ammo, We have 23 laser rounds left. It's all right. But I'm going to go ahead and see if I can repair more radio since that's our main crew. So I'm going to repair radio. Let's repair this junk. You repair 6% of it. Now, if I click on this robot, right, I can ask him to talk. We might as well. So I go request inform. So he says psychoanalysis 121087. Now, here's the thing. I am thinking that 121087 represent the state of these people in specific order here, 121087 this way. So I think that the engineer is the one that's not doing so well. And we have repaired 6 out of 50 of the radio. So that's not so bad. Okay, so I'm gonna ask him to repair. No, that's okay. I'm gonna see. It's all right. I'm gonna ask the dog to hunt. 6 rations, not bad. I'm gonna talk to the engineer because he's not feeling good. So it says soldier, doctor, and me, sorry, and Sarah. That is the order of Brandon psychoanalysis. Closer to 0 means worse. So I think that made him feel a little bit better. Okay, and then we have 1 turn left. I will. Doctor, repair radio. I'm going to ask him to prepare medicine, just in case. So he says, I know some herbs on this planet that will be useful. So he made 2 vaccines. We all need vaccines right now. That's 2 vaccines. That's not bad. So I'm going to go out. All right. We're done with the second day. All right. Again, 5 actions. We've got 38 days left. The fire looks okay, but I think I'm going to add wood because I think it's going to get extinguished soon. I'm going to add wood. So I'll leave me 4 turns. And I see that the doctor or the psychiatrist looked really nervous. So I'm going to talk to her. I'm going to talk. She says, if someone of the group dies, the morale will fall drastically. Some will be more affected than others depending on who. Okay. And let me see, check with the robot who is really sick. So request inform 10AA6. Okay, well, the engineer's not doing well either. So I'm going to have to talk to all 3 of them. Talk. Sarah and I have been married for 7 years now. She is great. She will surely help us get over this. I'm going to go to the doctor. I'm going to talk to him. I believe that someone infected with the Medusa will get his physiology frozen, neither needing to eat or feel sorrow. That's kind of scary. So, count stock, we have 36. I'll talk to, no, I'm going to ask him to repair radio. I almost forgot. So repair radio. Okay. All right. Next day. I'm still alive. Good for me. 37 days left. So the fire's still going. I'm not going to waste a turn on that. And I'm going to check with the robot to see how everyone's doing. So he's telling me 8989, 8986. That's not great. Okay. That means that you guys see that the soldier's kneeling right now. That means I'm not treating him right. So there is an option for me here to go talk to Sarah, the psychologist, and do group therapy. But when I do group therapy, it will use up all of my 4 turns. So it'll be all gone, right? All turns will be used. So Sergeant Burton says, listen, this will be the greatest challenge an Ever's Dusk team will ever face. But we shall prevail and tell our story. Okay. Next day. 36 days left. Still alive. Okay. So I'm going to check. Actually, I'm going to check with the robot. Request and inform 910A7. We're probably all right. But I'm thinking that I need to, oh, you guys see this? Talk, cure, cure. That means he got sick. So I'm going to have to cure him. I had a dream. I was having lunch at Mom's. Thanks for saving me anyway. Good thing I did that. I think I'm going to have to ask the doctor to prepare medicine. So you only got 1 vaccine. That's not good. So I'm going to ask the engine to repair radio. And I have 1 more turn. I think, here's the thing. I might have to pet this dog because I haven't pet him for a long time. So woof. Okay. All right. And oh, okay. Pet's free. So let's do another. Let's make you hunt. 3 bullets and 6 rations. Okay. I'm honestly not going to play through all the days. I just want to get you to see how far I can get. I usually don't get very far in this game. So I'm going to add wood because obviously our fire is gone. Okay. And you notice that if we click on the robot, 7865, everyone's doing badly. And I just did fire, so I can't do all therapy, right? I can't do that anymore. So I need to talk to them because I want to make sure they're okay. So I'm going to talk to her. Talk. Don't let Marvin die. We all love him. It would be a hard strike to the camp's mood. Marvin's a dog, so she's trying to warn me. I'm going to also talk to the doctor. This is an everlasting cigarette. It's harmless, but tastes like the good old ones. I'm also going to talk to the engineer. If you have to make a hard decision, take me before her, please. Brandon continue my work perfectly. So I think he's asking us to kill him off before we kill off the psychiatrist. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna ask him to repair radio. He's pretty much the only one that can really do repair radio, so I'm just gonna repair 6%. All right, 34 days left. I'm gonna click on him. I'm gonna check people out now. 5976, that's really bad. Notice the soldier is rocking back and forth. He is really not doing well. So I think I'm going to do a group therapy because I think everyone's going to die off or something. So I'm just going to do group therapy. Listen, this will be the greatest challenge on Everdust team ever faced, and we shall prevail and tell our story. Okay, so this is probably going to be my last try, guys. So as you're going through this, 7-10-8-7. So the soldier still after the therapy is still not doing very well. Radio power 15 out of 50, and we're 38 days left. Well, we're doing okay, I suppose, but it's not good enough. And ammo count 20. Food, let's count the food. Wow, we only have 7 rations. He got to go hunt. So I'm going to talk to him. I'm going to ask him to go hunt. He spent 1 bullet. Uh-oh. He did not get any food. So now I have to go ask the dog to do it. And the dog has a 60% success rate. He got 6 rations. Good. So we're not going to starve to death. And I'm going to add wood to the fireplace. So Sergeant Burden got some wood for the fireplace. Okay. 1 more day. Oh no. Oh no. I forgot about this. The dog is whining. I think he's not doing well. I'm going to have to pet him. So I'm going to pet him. Woof. Okay. And then I'm going to check with the robot and see how they're doing. So it's 8867. The psychiatrist is not doing well. But I'm gonna tempt fate. I'm gonna ask him to repair radio because we really need to get the radio prepared. And I'm gonna check this. Request inform 8867. I'm gonna do it 1 more time, just to try my luck. Okay, I'm gonna repair radio 1 more time. Okay, then I'm going to ask the doctor to prepare medicine. So 1 vaccine. We needed that. And in terms of food, I'm going to ask him to go hunt. 3 bullets and 6 rations. Okay. Uh-oh. Wild predators attacked this night. You kicked them out of the camp. You needed 7 bullets, but they took 3 rations of food. The group morale is low. So that was an unexpected event. I did not know there were predators that attacked me. So everyone is doing badly. They sure look really bad. So I'm going to look at the robot, and he's telling me, oh my gosh, 3317. Obviously, we're going to have to use all our turns. That's really bad because the fireplace is really low, but I don't have a choice. So I'm going to go talk to the psychiatrist. I'm going to ask, oh, we can't do that. This is really bad. I have to cure her because she got sick. So I can't use my old turn. So I got to go talk to her before she dies. So she said, Donald isn't very charismatic, but he is very good-hearted. And I'm going to talk to the doctor. The corpse and the Medusa victims are highly contagious. We should burn them if the time arrives. And I'm going to talk to the engineer because he's not doing well. So he says, I know that the soldier doesn't like me. I hope he won't do nothing stupid. Okay. And I'm going to talk to the soldier. Oh no, I ran out of turn. Okay, sorry, I failed. So I survived for 10 days. That's all I did. It says Sergeant Burnham failed his men and committed suicide. You had 9 bullets, 0 rations of food, and 3 meds left. Radio reparation 21 of 50. Thank you for playing. I obviously did a horrendously bad job, so don't do what I did. Okay. Okay, so I'm sorry about that. So if I am not screen share, oops, sorry about that. Okay, so I'm gonna go next to the next link. I hope you did better than I did. That was just a quick playthrough. All right, folks, so here's the next link, okay? If everyone can please get into this link, and it's just bit.ly/play-reflect1. Okay. bit.ly/play-reflect1. So I'm going to go there as well. And I hope Kristen captured the link for us. Okay.
Testing it now, but yes, I think I did.
Thank you. So I'm going to go to the link with you. Okay, folks. So this is a live document that everyone has edit rights, okay? Everyone can edit on this document. This is what I would like you to do. I know I did a very brief demo and I did horribly in the game because I died on the 30th day. So I'm not supposed to do that, but oh well. So if you can please form groups of 4 to 5. So these are groups right here. So this is group 1, the Fighting Ewoks. So if you can please form groups, don't go too far down on the document to the point where we can't find you, but click and put your name. You could just put your first name there so everyone can know who you are.
Do you want me to form people out into breakout rooms, or just to have them stay where they are? And
yeah, they could stay in the worksheet. That's fine. They can just do that.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you. So don't be shy, guys. Wherever you want to go, but don't get too far where we can't find you. Okay? It should be a group of 4 to 5 people on each little team.
With 16 participants, we should be able to do 4 groups of 4.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, that sounds great. So wait for people to pile in. And do not worry, I'm not grading you at all. Do not be afraid.
And that might actually count both you and me, Sherry. So let's try and do 4 or 5 people to a group. We may actually just be better off that way.
Oh, there's more people coming in too, though. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, and please start filling it out. Don't be afraid there's some wrong answer. It doesn't matter. So you just fill it out as we go.
Looks like we could use a couple more people in group 2.
Yeah. Can someone please join group 2? Eric is alone by himself and it's sad.
And group 3 also. So if you're not in groups 1, 2, or 3, let's hop up there and see how we're doing. Fill those out before we get others.
And if you just got into our room, the link to this document is in chat, and Christian just put it up for you. So please join us if you can.
And again, you'll have to copy and paste that link into your preferred browser. Zoom deactivates links in the chat.
Ooh, there's some pigeons. That's great. Okay.
Natasha, I see you solo in group 3. Why don't you hop up to group 2? You can copy and paste your work up there. That way you and Eric can work together.
Thank you. Okay, as I'm ad-libbing, so we're not completely in silence and working hard as everyone's doing it. When you're typing in the document as a practice, please write in complete sentence so we understand why you think something, for example, is an exigence. So the bullet point, sometimes people don't understand, and I'm trying to get you to feel what it feels like to be a student in my class. So if a student just put like one word or two, other students don't quite understand why that is. So it will be very, very helpful if you can put it in complete sentence and explain why something is actually a problem, okay? I'm going to jump down to group 2. Wow, group 2 is doing great. Very interesting comment there. And I'm sorry if I'm like surveillance, peeking. I usually don't do this. I let the student work it through before I say anything, but I get to have the luxury of kind of staring at the document today and see what people think. Okay. So if group 2, you keep going, that's awesome. You guys keep going. I'm just going to say quickly what group 2 has as a couple of examples, and it's really great. So group 2 has a few comments here, right? Dogs more for exigence. Again, exigence is a problem, right? That call us to respond to something, okay? So someone put dogs morale is low and requires petting. That's right. That's exactly it. That's because the dog doesn't say anything about wolf, right? So that's the only way we can communicate with it. And you guys also said other characters have low morale, requires rhetorical communication to solve problems. That's right. Nice way of throwing in the word rhetorical, but that's right. They need it all therapy, right? Group talk therapy to understand what they need to do. Food running low could require rhetorical communication to discuss how to solve the problem. Fire low, they're sick. Man, they just have a lot of problems, don't they? Excellent. And I'm just going to check back to group 1 and maybe jump down to group 3, okay? Because this is great. Okay, cool.
I'm scanning the other parts of the document, Sherry. So far, I only see people working in group 1 or 2.
Okay, and there's some folks coming in, so if they just want to join the big groups, they can, just because, we have smaller rooms and that's fine. Yeah. And what's really nice is why we should do collaborative writing, and I'm sure most of us do this already in class, but I think you would agree with me that when students are doing collaborative writing, they can co-opt, they can talk to each other, they can figure out if they're doing something wrong or right, and also edit or revise each other's work. Because I tell my students this, I don't grade their individual work and they do collaborative work. And I ask them that their team, they need to help each other, get better at the exercise. So they work to help each other, and I don't penalize students. However, if let's say there's 4 people and I see that one person is doing nothing right in the class, and I would have, I would give them a brief talk, put them on the side and go, you have to help your classmates because you don't want them to do all the work and you're doing nothing. So this is a really good way. Why is everything pink? Weird. This is a really good way for people to kind of work together, especially when you're working with very deep and rich conceptual concepts that students just don't understand. You have to have faith in the students that they can actually work together and figure it out on their own. So I don't really micromanage, even though it feels like I'm micromanaging today as we're doing a conference, but I usually step aside and I stop talking to them for a good 20 minutes or so. Then after that, I might go around and peek a little bit, answer questions that they have it, but they break out into groups, right? Usually 3 to 4, depending on the size of the classroom, and I put them into different places. Students are literally playing and doing these exercises in class to understand this theory, okay? And you guys have, yeah, group 1 pointed out too, wild predators present in the area need protection. That's definitely a new problem that I encountered. I didn't remember encountering that problem until today. So that's a new one. I didn't know that. I was like, uh-oh, I didn't realize this. Basically, my team died with this weird accidental problem, you know? And then we have audience. You guys did a great job here, just pointed it out. And thank you for identifying what each of the person can do. Because we went back and we said earlier, for those who just came in, that an audience, according to Bitzer's theory, an audience is a person who believe they can solve or do something about the problem, okay? Or feel like they're influenced by the problem somehow. So the listing of, for example, doctor who can make medicine, that's his purpose and that's his ability, right? So he's a doctor, he can do this particular action. Soldier can hunt for food and he solved the problem of starvation, right? They'll starve to death. And that's great, the way you guys list this here. And that's right, sergeant is in charge of the moose. I've never put it that way, but he certainly is the guy who's walking around and visiting the room. So he does take charge of the moose. That's right. I'm going to keep going. Okay, I'm just going to jump back and forth, okay, between teams here. So team 2, and I don't think we have team 3, right? So we don't, yeah, that's fine. So I'm going to go to team 2 here. The constraints, you guys put only 5 actions per turn. You know, that's right at the beginning, but I am such a terrible player. You only saw 5 turns. If I went past 30 days, it actually started to decrease to 4 days and later on 3 days. So I'm spoiling it for you, but I just didn't expect to perform so badly today. That was a surprise. Trying to identify elements to click on, right? So I was clicking all over the place, trying to figure out what is clickable and what I have to fulfill, right? And because of the constraints, again, constraints, for those who came in a little later, are obstacles or limitations that prevent me from solving the problem the way I think the problem should be solved. So that means I formulated a method, but if I don't take into consideration the limitation that's placed upon me, such as, for example, the 5 actions, I can't solve the problem properly. And that certainly is the reality when we think about how the world works, is that there are limitations placed on us. I myself, right, I teach philosophy and game studies. I certainly can't just say, hey, students, since you're feeling depressed, let's go have a party somewhere. I think that there's a fine line to what I can or cannot do based on the limitation that's placed on me because, you know, I'm an educator, right? So there's certain things that's there. Difficult to change states and status. It's really great. I'm going to go up. Okay. Okay, wow, you guys, group 1 have more here. So constraints, radio is broken, yeah. Psychological and logistical concerns. Very good, that's right. Those are definitely concerns, right? So we're not just, the constraints are not just simply environmental constraints, but constraint can certainly refer to mental constraints, which is you personally, I personally feel like I can't do something. Me telling myself that point is certainly constraints, and that's really well put out there, right? That's great. And also the weather, yes, we're in the cold. There's just not much we can do. And I really do hope, I really sincerely say this, I hope that somebody got farther than I did, because I feel embarrassed by how bad I did today. So, okay, not bad, people. This is really great. This is really, really great. So folks, this document is live and it's available to all of you, so you can stare at it if you didn't quite finish. but I'm going to get out of this because this is wonderful. You guys immediately got this exercise. That's wonderful, okay? And you will be surprised how difficult it is when students on the left-hand side, for example, constraint, when they read constraint, right, on their book, when they read about Bitzer's theory, they can't put 2 and 2 together. They don't understand what I'm talking about. But when it comes to a game container, when they go, wait, what are the things that's blocking me from doing something? They immediately get it. That's why there is a strength to interaction and a strength to graphical display that helps the student understand concepts more. And you guys just demonstrated that. You don't even, some of you might not care about rhetoric and you got this immediately. So wonderful. So I'm going to get out of this for a second, okay? So I'm going to go back to the presentation, if you will. And I'm going to go to the next game. So I'm sorry if you're still working on it, but we're going to go to the next game just because of time concern. So the next game, I don't know how far I'll get into it. It's called We Become What We Behold. You can certainly play it and just hear me blab in the background. The URL is bit.ly/WBWB3. I know it's not easy to remember, but it's We Become What We Behold 3. Okay, so WBWB3. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click on it. And Kristen, did you get the link by the chance?
Other than the fact that I typoed and did a period instead of slash, I'm fixing it now.
Okay, thank you.
Now they've got one they can copy and paste.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much for managing that. So I'm going to click on the link, okay? And again, I can't promise I'm going to play this well because I did so badly on the previous game. I'm like, oh my gosh. So it tells us that this game takes 5 minutes to play, but I'm not that great at playing. And again, I play different type of game. I play MMOs and stuff. This kind of game, yeah. So we become what we behold. So I'm going to click on play, okay? So we become what we behold. We shape our tools, then our tools shape us. Marshall McLuhan. Most of us know who they are, I think. Misattributed. Okay, so it tells me to point and click. So I'm going to click on this guy. Ooh, hashtag. Ooh, nice hat. Okay, and everyone wearing hats now. Sweet. And I see interesting couples. I'm going to click on that. Ooh, gross. Go get a room. Well, that's not nice. That's horrible. Okay, so I'm gonna keep going. Okay, there's this crazy guy. I'm gonna capture him. You gotta catch them doing something interesting. So I didn't do something. Okay, fine. So what are they doing that's interesting? What are they doing that's interesting? I don't know. Oh. Ooh, just missed it. Darn it. Oops. Okay, not fast enough. I'm gonna wait for this guy. Oh. No, he's behind the TV. I'm not getting it. Get out. Come on, man. Oh, there you go. Finally. Crazed square attacks. Okay, so the so the round guy is disappointed. You gotta do them. Okay, fine. I can't take every photo I want. Okay. Oh, I missed that. That was crazy. Do something. Oh. Circle fierce squares. Not good, is it? Nope. Again, this is supposed to take 5 minutes. I'm just slow. Oh, there we go. Squares, snub, circles. All right. Uh-oh, there's a red guy. Oh. Oh no, I missed it. What are these nerds doing now? There's a red guy. What's he doing? Is he gonna start screaming? Nope, he's just red. Okay, now somehow, He somehow is happy. Oh, I missed it. There's too many things going on in this game. Come on, man. Do something weird. Oh, there you go. Circles hate squares. All right. Uh-oh. Things are... Oh, nope. I missed that. Gotta catch them doing something interesting. Oh, jeez, man. Oh, there you go. Circles hate squares. Okay. Ooh. More anger, man. Okay. Squares hate circles. Peace is boring. Violence goes viral. Jeez. Okay. Almost everyone hates everyone. Woo! I'm doing a great job here. Okay. Oh, I didn't catch it right. This is bad. This is really, really bad. It's not getting any better. I'm all crazy. And I'm not fast enough. I'll try my best. I don't know if I'll get to the end here. It's supposed to be 5 minutes. Okay. Everyone hates everyone. 1. Uh-oh. My God. Look at this. Yeah, you gotta catch on something. Okay. Okay. I thought I was doing it. Jeez. Everyone hates everyone. We established this. This is ridiculous. And here is, oh my gosh. What is this? Oh my gosh. Ooh. Be scared. Be angry. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Be scared. Be angry. Oh my gosh. Wow. I should have warned that there's violence. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. Okay, I can't even. This is just, it gets worse and worse, and it's getting worse. To a point where I can't even play anymore. I don't think I can even play. Be scared, be angry. Created by Nikki Case. All right, I'm gonna stop now. At least I finished it this time. So I'm gonna get out of this. At least I didn't embarrass myself completely. So I'm gonna go to the next slide. And folks, here's another link, okay? So here's this another link, and it's gonna be another worksheet. So it's bit.ly/play-reflect2. So it's bit.ly/play-reflect2. And I'm gonna go in there with you, all of you. All right, so I'm gonna go in there. And it's yet another document, yay. So folks, if you would please, again, get into your group 4 or 5. I mean, the first 2 groups is perfectly fine. If you can put your name there so people know who they're working with, I would appreciate that. And this little game is a little more shocking, so I'm sure you have a lot to say for this little one.
And I'm sorry, Sherry, I missed that bit.ly.
Oh,
I was playing the game.
Sorry. So it's
Play reflect 2.
Okay.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure you playing the game yourself is much more fun than watching me play. I was terrible at it, so.
It definitely took a turn at the end.
There's nothing you can do. You're just like, oh my gosh, it just gets worse. It's like, Yeah. So folks, if you can please put your name, yes. If you can please put your name, just first name if you like, so folks, people can know who they're working with. I really appreciate that. And there are different groups, so 4 to 5 people per group is perfect. If you have more folks, and big groups is fine. Okay. I'm glad that there are more people joining us right now. So excuse me as I become repetitive since we have new folks who joined us. What we're doing right now is to analyze the meaning, the rhetorical situation of a game that we just played together using Lloyd Bitzer's rhetorical situation theory. And what everyone is doing right now is based on what they learned from the theory, from the game experience. They're trying to analyze the game by using these boxes here, and we're putting folks in a group of 4 or 5 in each group to kind of work it out and help each other out. And we did a fantastic job. Our group, obviously professors, instructional designers, right? Excellent work in the first worksheet. So I'm not worried at all about this group. But this second one is kind of a punishment because it's just a little bit traumatizing, as Christian was saying earlier. So yeah, so you guys go at it. Okay. And I will repeat as I'm helping everyone think, because this is new exercise for you. For Bitzer, the definition of an audience is someone who feels like, who believes that they can do something to solve a problem. So you would have to specifically say, what is this person's ability? What do they think they can do, right? In that response. Or an audience could also be defined by someone who feels like they are influenced by whatever the problem is. So they feel that they're personally invested, they have to do something about it, okay? So that's what I like folks to kind of analyze there. And the first part with exigence, one more time, is a problem. That calls you to say something about it. So some kind of problem. It could be a social problem, psychological problem, political problem, anything. And I didn't say this earlier, but a game, folks, you can't take it so literally. Unless if a game is literally about some real history, about real characters and exactly what they've done, all games essentially are metaphors, right? Or just simulations of something, or maybe just puzzles or something. So when I try to explain to my students, sometimes they get stuck on this one, we become what we behold, because they're taking it very literally. And I tell them, look, these characters, so circles and squares, think of what possibly they could represent of real people in reality. What is the author, which is the game developer, is trying to say by making what is the statement that he or she is trying to say through this game? And in that sense, then you have this range of freedom to go, well, maybe this is what it's representing, or maybe this is a political statement that's making, or maybe it's referring to this piece of news and so forth. So it's a lot more free than you guys think. It's actually helping students think out how theory applies to real world situation. That's our goal here. Okay. Yep. So our group 1 already pointed out some interesting stuff. So an exigence, you guys point out that we have to catch them to do something interesting, right? So I take random photos and the game punish me and say, you didn't take very good photos. That certainly is a problem, but it's not the major problem yet, but certainly it is a problem, right? It actually could fit under constraints as well. And the second one, that's really good. As you catch things, and I think what you guys mean by catch as in take photos, right? As I capture photos, the people get less friendly. That's right. There was nothing I could do to make them happier. It seems that they got angrier and angrier as I take photo, and then the photo went onto the TV screen, and then people just get angrier and angrier, okay? And I want you guys to define why possibly And if you want to challenge yourself, why did it get angrier? Is it just because I took a photo, or what exactly happened when I took a photo? And yes, the third point, people are influenced by image captured. You guys are getting that. I'll leave you alone. Just looking. I am looking. Okay. So constraints. Yep. Great. So the other folks in here on group 1, under constraints, you guys wrote, nothing happens unless you catch them doing something, right? So that's right. That's what I was saying, is that problem sounds more like a constraint. So when you think of problem, think of possible social problems that the game is hinting at. That way it will help you, give you more range of what you can possibly put there under problems. Speed of camera, frame, and shutter speed. Yeah, I try to click as much as fast as possible. Of course, my reaction time might be slower than you guys, right? But I click as fast as possible, and sometimes it just doesn't catch. So certainly that's a limitation. I have to train myself to be a little faster to capture those images. And then the noise of the situation. I'm glad you guys can hear the audio. That wasn't pleasant. I was worried that you guys could hear. So yeah, it was destructive in the sense that I feel emotionally swayed. I felt panic, right, when I was listening to that. So that's great. Audience, people, square heads. Yep. People in hats. Let's see. We go to group 2 if I miss you guys here. Wow, look at group 2. You guys are awesome. So you're posing some questions and exigence, which is fine. So you wrote, how do people relate to each other? Question, that's a problem. Why do they care about what is photographed rather than what is not photographed? Interesting, right? Hey, I love that. Why do they care more about what is photographed than what they directly observe within the game? Very good question. Everyone is happy at the beginning. Happy, with the quotation marks, happy, whatever happy means, right? Whatever that means. Capturing something happening, okay? I'm not sure how that's a problem, or, oh, I see, that it was difficult to capture something happening, okay? Based on observation of character in the game, characters change behavior. Changing behavior, I suppose, could be a problem too. If it's a bad behavior, then it's a good thing, right? But necessarily, you might want to say to the effect of changing behavior to bad manners, or maybe just anger or something. But I get what you're saying there. Problems catching behaviors, watching closely rather than casually. And then you have audience. Angry people made others angry. See, I'm not sure if that's the audience or the fact that unless the angry people think that talking to other people or meeting other people solve a problem, or if you say something like the angry people who resorts to violence, right, to solve a problem, that will make a little more sense for me as you're talking about audience, because you know, the angry people later on started to wield guns and axes or batons, whatever they were using. The player, I myself wouldn't be the audience because you wouldn't know. So if I play a game, I might not necessarily be the audience. Yes, the game can pull me into it, certainly. But when we talk about the audience, we're talking about, let me say it this way. Who would be interested in playing this game? That's another layer. I force you all to play the game because today I say, here's the link, play it, right? But you know that not necessarily people will play that game. So the question you have about audiences, what are the problems that's presented in the game that will pull certain people to want to play it? That's another way to think about what the audience is, right? Who would be interested in this kind of thing? So if you said something to the effect of people who are concerned about the effect of media on us, how media influences us. Why do I say that? Because if you remember, there was a television screen right in the middle square. I was taking photos, and whatever I took went onto the television screen. So that means whatever that was shown on the television screen also vis-a-vis influence the people who are looking at the television screen. So if people are worried about the influence of media and they know of this game, they might be interested in playing it. That's another way to think about what the audience could be. So the audience could be outside of the game. The audience could be hinted at within the game itself as well. So when you say circle or square, it's okay to branch out and say who you think they represent. And it's not going to be offensive or anything like that. It's more as in what could it be metaphorically speaking to, okay? And goodness, you know what, guys? It's like 10:03, and I really love to keep going because you guys are doing such an awesome, awesome job. But remember, this document is open to you. So if you want to see, you know, copy this worksheet or try to do something in your class similar to what we're doing here, please feel free to copy this. But I'm going to go back to my presentation just because we just don't have a lot of time, okay? So I'm going to go back to our presentation. And thanks for that. That was great. Thank you so much. I'm going to go back here. So I'm going to show you a series of recommended games. So beyond the two games, those two games, I've selected them because they're very short and you can play them in class. But that doesn't mean those are the only types of game I assign to my students. If a game takes, for example, 30 to 40 hours or maybe even longer to play, naturally you know that you're going to have to assign it like it's a book, right? And you tell the students to go home and play it. And I don't have a lot of resistance to that. Students say, I want to play it, right? So I give them, when I design assignments, maybe a writing assignment or something, or maybe an essay around surrounding that the game, I might give them, for example, 2 or 3 weeks or 4 weeks, right? Depending on how long the game takes. I also want to say this, as I've emphasized on Wednesday on my keynote, is as a teacher, you should not be assigning any game that you haven't played yourself. That is because as a teacher, when you play it, you know exactly how long it's going to take, right? You know what the obstacles are, or maybe there's accessibility issues that the game presents. So as you play it, then you can go, you know what, I think this is appropriate for assigning, okay, for assigning to students. So I'm gonna open that up. I'm gonna go into the games really quick, okay? So the first game is called Distraint. I'm not going to play the video for this one, but Distraint is a horror puzzle game, and it's about a rent collector. And given our current situation of COVID-19, I know folks know that a lot of people are not being able to make rent. And this story is chilling because he is trying to collect rent from his first person, rentee, and is an elderly woman who says, you know, I can't pay the rent. So if you force me to pay the rent, I don't have anything. You'll kick me out and I will starve to death on the street. Please don't kick me out. And that's how the game starts. It's not a joyous one, but it has a lot of themes regarding classism, low class versus high class, hierarchy, inequality, inequity, diversity, and access. All kinds of problems are present in this little game. And please notice it's free. It's actually a free game. It's mobile, and actually, guys, if you see this, it's on Android, iOS, Nintendo Switch, PS4, Windows, PS Vita, Steam. So if you want to get a copy, it's easy, just get a Steam copy. I played it on my mobile phone and it run really, really nicely. And it's a platformer and it's a puzzle solving piece. So it does take some brain power to play this thing. But I would recommend this game. Students can also eliminate ads if they pay, I think it's like $3. And I think it's very worth it just to pay $3 to remove the ads. So I'm going to go next. All right. This game, I will explain this too. I don't know if we have time to look at it, but this particular game is called My Child Lebensborn. Lebensborn is the German term for fount of life, which is like the fountain, the source of life. And it's a game about Nazis in 1960s Norway. So in 1950, the Nazis occupied Norway. And Nazi soldiers, many of them, okay, raped Norwegian women. And the children of the product of rape, they call them Lebensborn. Okay, so the Nazis call the children that they left in Norway, like with the Norwegian women, as Lebensborn. And what they did was, under the Hitler's regime, they said that they're going to take these Lebensborn children and take them to Germany and raise them as Germans. Okay, but when the Nazi regime fell apart, the Nazi soldiers sent all these children back to Norway. So in Norway, they call these poor children Lebensborn. They were discriminated against. They were seen as inferior, and also they carried Nazi blood, so everyone hated them. So this is a story that's not a horror. It's not action-based, but it's about you trying to take care of this poor child, Lebensborn. And you can have a child that's male or female. The game let you choose that. It's worth it, and it's $2.99. It's not free, but again, these are low-cost games. Okay. Third one, The Park. This is a first-person horror game about an amusement park. It is daunting. It is daunting. I know I have 2 horror games back to back, but this is about a mother who's trying to search for her child who got lost in the amusement park. It is not easy as play, and there are many dominant themes in this game that is needy for you to kind of grasp into. And it's $5.19 on sale on Steam. Okay, so still not too expensive. $5.19 is currently on sale. So I'm going to show you maybe the next one, just so we're on time. This one is a beautiful game. This game is called Grizz, and it's a platformer adventure game about tragic loss. It is done in minimalism art style. And it's not in your face to explain to you what tragic loss is, but it's through the experience of the game. So I'm going to stop talking for a second. I'm going to play it to you, okay? Very worth it, guys. I would say it's a very worthy game. If you really want to try a game like this with your students, there's no graphic detail, there's no violence or anything like that. It is straight up an art game. Okay, I'm gonna keep going because I'm out of time. Beholder, excellent given our current political climate. I'm not gonna say more, but Beholder 1 is a game about surveillance, which is you are constantly being surveyed by cameras all around the house, and you work for this landlord, and you're constantly watching the neighbors as well as being watched yourself. It is very uncomfortable, and it's a mobile game. And it's not too expensive. It's $9.99. So it's okay, right? But for students, I try to select games that are at lower price points, so it's easier for you to assign to your students. I have thousands of game collection, but these are the ones that I think is really appropriate because of the big themes, serious themes, social themes that is actually present in the game. Okay, and Beholder 2, they flipped the script. So now that you are not the one being surveilled, but you're the one surveying everything. Okay, so you are the one looking into people's home. You are the dictator. So it's hinting a little bit at authoritarian governments and so forth. This is also worth it. It's a little more expensive. You can try the first one and see if you like it and go for the second one. I got both of them. They're wonderful little games. And it says Nightmare Bureaucracy Simulator. That's exactly what it is. Okay. This is Jotun, and this is an action exploration game in Valhalla, and it's based on Norse mythology. So if you're into mythology and history, this is a wonderful selection to go into. I don't have time to play the video, but remember these links, after we finish, the slides are available to you, and you can click on these links, go directed to Steam, see if you are willing to purchase it or play with it or look at Let's Play to see if this is an appropriate game for you. This one is one of my favorites. This is Dragon. And Dragon is a game that is a mystery adventure game set in 1920s Norway. And it's Right, it is again right before World War II, around that time, right? So people they were going back home to see what happened to their family, and they couldn't find their family. So it's a mystery, trying to explore what happened to their family. This is a wonderful piece. And Inside is a horror puzzle game. I can't say more to give it away, but it's one of the most acclaimed games in recent memory because it it challenges your expectation of who you are as a player. So you play a little boy. You don't know exactly what happened to the little boy. All you know is that there are all kinds of adults trying to kill you, the little boy, throughout this whole game. I can't say more, but it's totally worth it. And yes, it costs a little more because it's pretty famous. One more, Kentucky Route Zero, the most expensive one. Magic realist adventure set in Kentucky about a secret highway. Need I say more? It's actually in America. This one's a little more. Again, worth it. I love this game very much. It's trippy. If you know what magical realism is, this is one of the very few games on the market that plays with magic realism, okay? And one more note is I also run video series online, and I have an ethics and games series, and the link is right there. So again, afterwards, you're welcome to access the link because I have more game recommendation, specifically on how to teach, using games to teach philosophy, rhetoric, game studies, and so forth, okay? And thank you so much. I mean, I didn't leave much time for questions, but the link to the presentation is right there, folks. It's bit.ly/game situations. And I'm willing to stay on a little bit if people have questions.
Yeah, I am going to need to close the meeting down at 10:20, but that gives us 5 minutes. And I'm going to go ahead and set unmute all, or just allow people to unmute themselves. So everybody's unmuted at this moment. If you want to mute yourself again, do so. But if you have a question, feel free to go ahead and speak.
Hi, Sherry. Thank you so much. This was really helpful. My name's Carrie Staples. I was wondering if you had any textbooks that you use for those of us that aren't familiar with rhetoric.
Oh, in terms of rhetoric, well, I'm going to say I have another session today on OER because I'm a major OER advocate. So you see
sorry, what's OER?
Open Educational Resources.
Oh, okay, thank you.
So after this, because I don't want to waste your time right now, if you see my bio link right there, my email is in there. So if we exchange email, I can totally give you a list of things that I think, free textbooks that you can study. Yeah, so I'm into free stuff.
Thank you, we are too.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't be shy if you have questions, folks.
I'm sorry, I'll ask one more.
Oh.
Are there some virtual reality experiences that you think fit in with your list of games?
I do have them. It's not in front of me, but yes, there are lots of VR games that are appropriate.
Okay.
The reason why I don't promote VR and AR as much, even though I personally make and design mixed reality escape rooms, I actually play with VR. I'm also a designer and I program. It's because I'm afraid that students don't have the money for them. These games are online, right? It doesn't cost much. They just need internet connection to play. Okay. So I try to give them Steam games, but they are definitely VR games. So if you know Steam, you go to Steam Games, right? They have lists of VR and AR games for you to explore if that's what you would like to try with your students. I'm just more sensitive to my student population because a lot of them complain about, you know, having to get additional equipment.
All right, folks, I don't want to cut this short, but we do need to close down this account so that they can open the 10:30 session up. So, Sherry, thank you so much. It was fascinating. I've got some new concepts and definitely some games I'm going to go look up. I'm excited to go see the Gree in particular just looks so beautiful.
Thank you so much, Christian, for moderating, and thank you everyone for attending.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.